This is Twit.
I've got my fingers ready to pull apart a Mac Pro.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, I'm so excited. Well, okay, we're not going to be doing that,
Ow.
but.
See, I thought you bought the top of the line one just for this episode.
You know, I said, Leo, I need $60,000 and I need to use it on a Mac Pro. And he said, no.
I need $60,000 and a block of cheddar cheese, please.
Well, we'll see. Kyle Wiens is here from iFixit to talk all about the Mac Pro teardown. Kyle, hello, and thank you for joining us.
Hey, guys.
Oh, my goodness, look at you.
There it is.
Oh,
This is
my
it.
goodness.
I've got it right here.
Oh, wow.
Isn't she a beauty? Look at this.
Oh, man.
Beautiful.
I mean, it really is. It looks like a jet, basically.
It is sleek. I mean, you imagine, if you hadn't actually seen the fans running, you'd think that you could use the fans to take off because they're so big, but they actually run pretty slow.
Oh, okay. So let's get into things. My first question for you is, how did you iFixit is usually super fast to get these different devices and start doing the teardown. Was there a plan in place for getting the Mac Pro? Did you know you were going to do a Mac Pro teardown? I think sometimes people like to get a little bit of that inside baseball look at things.
Yeah, we knew we were going to do it, and it was just a question of how quickly can we order one. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we're doing the same thing everybody else is. We're on the website. We're reloading at midnight or whenever it goes on sale. Sometimes if you use the iOS app, the iOS Apple Store app sometimes gets you in a minute or two earlier than the website does.
Ah, there you go. Pro tip for folks out there. In fact, that's anytime it's iPhone ordering time, I'm definitely on the app, making sure I can get one there.
We have most of us use Android, so we've got the few people that have iPhones have kind of the hot ticket phones, and usually we're all racing to get an order in, so we'll order 5 and then figure out what the earliest order number is and cancel the other 4.
Oh wow, okay. So let's talk about that next. What is the sort of spec for this Mac Pro? I'm assuming you didn't go for the 60K version.
Yeah, no, we just got the base model. So this is a mere $6,000 sitting next to me, plus tax. $6K. Plus tax.
Oh yeah, right, tax. It's too bad that that's not a tax-free purchase because you're doing such a great service.
I spent more on this computer than I did on my car by a good margin.
Oh my goodness. So let's talk about it. iFixit, one of the great things that you folks do is at the end of every article, you get to see the little animation as we decide how repairable something is. And Apple, you go and you look at AirPods Pro teardown and it's laughable.
There's no way to fix an AirPod.
Yeah,
there's no way to recycle an AirPod. They're just disposable. Chuck them in the trash.
Which is a bummer. So do we have to chuck the Mac Pro in the trash when we're done with it, or can we?
Absolutely not. This is a machine that is designed from the ground up to last. And maybe Apple has learned from the fact that they can't get around to releasing new Mac Pros very often. So they said, well, if we're going to have one hardware design, this thing is going to have to last a long time. And I'd be pretty confident this computer is going to last 10 plus years. So if you're trying to find a way to justify your $6,000 and up investment, part of how you could think about it is amortizing the value over a long period of time.
Well, you're talking about 10 years. My Mac Pro, when did I buy that? I bought that sucker in 2008.
You got a Mac Pro, the trash can?
No, so this was 2008. It was more closely resembles this.
Yeah, the cheese grater Mac, the original cheese grater Mac.
Yes, the original cheese grater Mac.
Cheese grater.
That was 2010-ish, 2009, somewhere around there. And it's still, it's old, but it's still rocking. So this thing better be rocking 10 years
Well,
later.
I can confirm this one grates cheese better than the old one.
All right. Before we go any further, I should also specify iFixit is a sponsor on the network. This segment is not tied to that. We had no responsibility or anything. We were just fascinated with the fact that A, you got the Mac Pro, and B, you actually took cheese to the cheese grater because
you have to.
Why the heck not? So is this sharp cheddar? Is it medium? We got to know all about this cheese and how this went.
So
for you.
if I could do this again, this is very inexpensive, low grade cheddar, and I think that a sharper cheddar would have worked better. Yeah,
a sharper cheddar works better.
And if you're gonna do it, I suggest getting the cheese a little bit colder than we did.
Oh my goodness! You can't pair a $6,000 machine with $2 cheddar. What are we doing?
Exactly. Yeah, we ran out of money.
Oh, now I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still had to make
that from an employee's lunch that they brought in. Is basically what it was.
I did cheese? After we did this video. I made a sandwich out of that cheese. So.
Oh, okay. That's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. I had that nice after production taste to it. It's kind of
just
tangy.
The aluminum tang. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta love the aluminum tank.
It tastes like burning.
Oh, God. So
It's like cash.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Cash burning. Well, let's talk about the internals of this beast. I mean, aside from being a machine that lasts, it's a machine that is meant for adding and subtracting different devices, which, traditionally you get a MacBook Pro like the one that I have here, and you open this thing up and it's like, where can I put a new thing of RAM? How do I add a new SSD? Well, I head to iFixit's website and look up the guide if I can. But in some cases, you can't do that. So this machine is like pop and drop, right? You pretty much
Absolutely
whatever you want in it.
Well, and it's fundamentally upgradable. And that means, that's really important for the Mac ecosystem. The fact that Apple has a product that is upgradable means that their OS X team has to support random graphics cards that people could drop in, right? Now there's going to be a lot of pressure on Apple to support NVIDIA. There is going to be an ecosystem of aftermarket cards that are going to be plugged in. There's going to be all kinds of software and driver support and bugs that they're going to have to work out. So this, with the previous model where they had said there is no internal expansion, that limited the amount of work that the software team had to do. Now that the software has to support an upgradable machine, there's nothing stopping them from leveraging that work with other machines.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Is there such a thing as too easy to take apart, too easy to repair?
No,
probably not in your mind.
I wouldn't. I would say no. I mean, at the point that it impacts functionality, right? If you make it so easy to repair. Actually, a good example of this, the Fairphone 2 was so easy to take apart. Everybody was taking it apart all the time, and it was so much fun to open up that eventually you would accidentally break it from repeatedly cycling that. So I don't think that's going to happen with this thing, but it definitely. I mean, it's got the big on the top. There's the big slot handle that's really satisfying, and then the top lifts off. So I wouldn't be worried about too repairable. I think what is really interesting about this, obviously it's upgradable and everybody's talking about the technical capabilities that it gets you. But they went above and beyond. This thing is actually, I would say, almost more upgradable than a typical tower PC, or at least faster to upgrade.
Okay.
They've done little details, like they've got labels where you can't see the number here, but it's coded. And then we've got these handy little latches for removing things. So they've all of the modules in here. The speakers, there isn't a cable that plugs the speaker into the main board. Instead, it just slots in and it snicks in place. And they've got pogo pens that are connecting it. So this is the kind of repairable design that we've seen sometimes in some LG phones and Fairphones and others. We haven't seen Apple do a modular design like this, and it's really fantastic to see.
Yeah, I saw the PCIe slots are just a switch.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm curious, is this at all do you feel like this is at all in response to Apple's tradition of being a little bit less repairable for the sake of functionality and design, or is this just simply like when you're looking at Pro machines, this is what you want? Because
right.
I'm curious. This is sort of runs contrary to Apple's design process in the sense that it is so repairable. But then there are some things that's like, oh, I see how that's very quote unquote Apple. But
yeah,
did it need to be, this open, this easy to do? And is that kind of the standard when it comes to folks who are needing a machine like this?
Well, I think it's important not to conflate Apple with lack of repairability. Apple, there have been some designs that have had this a trend, right? So there's been a design trend inside Apple recently, where things have been integrated and non-repairable. But that's not true to Apple's DNA the last 30 years. That's just been something that they have recently done, maybe due to constraints, maybe due to lack of time, lack of prioritization. But they're a fantastically talented design team, and when you give them the opportunity to prioritize repairability, they knock it out of the park. They do a fantastic job, like they did with this thing.
Gotcha.
Did you have a chance to tear apart the wheels to see why they cost $400?
We didn't get the wheels. What we can tell you is that you can, if you want to make your own wheels or get some hardware store wheels or whatever, you can. It's just an Allen key to get the feet off, and so you can swap it out. So if you're feeling like you would really like a mobile Mac Pro, but you would like to spend the $400 on RAM or something else, go for it. There should be. I imagine we're going to see some 3D printed adapters and then some off the shelf.
This is a customization option right here for all the do-it-yourselfers.
I'm worried it's going going to affect my warranty, though. Yes, I installed skateboard wheels on my Mac Pro. Can I still get Apple Care Plus?
So let me tell you about the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, which does not allow them to void the warranty if you do things like that. So let's say you buy a brand new blingin' Corvette that you'll probably pay less for than you'd pay for this thing, and you put aftermarket rims on it. Those rims do not void the warranty on your Corvette, and adding, custom rims or wheels to this thing won't either. As long as you don't damage the device in the process of installing it, your warranty's good to go.
That's good to know. I just got a Corvette today, and I was thinking about adding some new rims to it.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you for the Corvette. I appreciate that. What a nice gift you gave me.
What can I say? I'm a really good co-host.
You are a really good co-host.
Merry Christmas.
Nearly cried. Anything surprise you? Well, that's kind of the big one, the big question at the end. Anything either surprise you or maybe something that, sometimes you'll see, well, we're not quite sure what this chip is yet. We're going to look into it. Anything surprise you or confuse you or confound you?
No, from a thermal perspective, I think everything is reasonable. It's interesting. There's a USB port on the inside that is specifically designed for people that use like Avid, and it comes with a hardware dongle for authenticating the software. So that's a unique feature I hadn't seen on very many desktop towers. But I would say overall, the most surprising thing is the attention to modularity where it was not necessary, where it's just the right thing to do, where you got the power supply is easy to remove and swap out. The speakers are easy to remove and swap out. The fans are easy to remove and swap out. That attention to detail for repairability is not necessary to accomplish the day one needs that pros have. It's all the kinds of design features that I think are important across every product, right? Everything out there should be modular. It should be repairable. And Apple is clearly demonstrating they've thrown down the gauntlet, and the Mac Pro design team has said, look, we can do it in this form factor. I'd like to challenge Apple's other design teams to do that with some of their other products.
Gotcha. Now, if you take everything out of the inside, can you use it as a weight bench?
Sure. Yeah.
Excellent.
I mean, it's it's actually relatively light. I mean, this kind of cool chassis, right? The way that the handles are part of the structural elements. That's an elegant design feature in it, and it minimizes the overall amount of material. It'd be interesting to see how this weighs compared to the previous cheese grater, but I think it's a fair amount lighter.